Today's review is, surprise, surprise, a double IPA. And this is Four Naan. It's from Gravity Well, brand new release. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to Gravity Well. They're one of my top 10 breweries. I've had some great beers from them, and on the back end of last year I had two double IPAs, inner core and outer core. Both of them were excellent. So I thought, right, next time I see a double IPA from them, I'll have to get it. And so I did. And this one is called Four Naan. Now I think the name comes from Peep Show. Any fans of that? That's where Four Naan comes from. I don't think I've really seen Peep Show. I don't know the reference, but I did think, what does that mean? It's something from the show. And it's a double IPA, 8%. Hop-wise, we have Crush, El Dorado Incognito, and a sprinkling of Nelson Sauvin. So let's crack it open, get it in a glass, and see what kind of hop custard we're going to get. Yeah, I mean, it's beginning of the year. There's a lot of great double IPAs kicking around, so I'm hopeful for this. It's one of these sort of beers where I've just got very high expectations, which, you know, is probably always going to end up in disappointment. I poured that a bit aggressively. Right, so beer in a glass. We've got a lovely yellowy coloured. It's not as custardy as I would like. It's quite a lot of carbonation sticking to the glass there. I've got about 2 and a bit fingers of head. That probably will be, I mean, it looks fairly soft and compacted on the top, and the bubbles are there's lots of bubbles there, but there's a lot of little small ones, so I'm not sure where we're going to get that. But we've got a lovely orangey, hazy sort of beer. Let's see what the aromas are like. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm really a big fan of El Dorado, and when I smell that, I think, yeah, El Dorado is that jelly tots. It's just a sweet, tropical, pick-and-mix sort of mixture of very sweety type of fruit aromas. Crush, I mean, Crush is probably quite similar. That was the old HBC 4586. I think it was 586. Then it became Crush. Crush is very much a tropical sort of a hop that gives off tropical sort of aromas and flavors. So you're getting some your mango, your stone fruits, that sort of stuff as well. And we've got Nelson Sauvin. Yeah, I'm not. God, actually, now as soon as I mentioned the name Nelson Sauvin, I put it to my nose. It says almost like my brain said Nelson Sauvin. You smell that now, and that is that sort of gooseberry, melon, and those sort of crunchy sort of apple pears sort of aroma as well. Smells pretty good. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Bags of flavour. Oh, it's funny because it's a much softer than I thought it was going to be. And actually, even the mouthfeel was almost a little bit more velvety than I thought it was. Even in the glass here, I don't know what it is about those bubbles, but it almost looks like it's going to be sort of a little bit fizzy, but it's not fizzy. It's smooth. It's pillowy soft. And it's quite, excuse me, so it's quite light as well. Flavour-wise, yeah, I'm trying to unpack the flavours of it. There is, I wouldn't say it was as sweet as maybe the aroma sort of suggested. There is a little bit of sweetness, but I've had some really great double IPAs. The one I had from Polly's recently, which was really good, that was a little bit more sweeter than this is. But there's still an element of sweetness. Certainly it's more on the sort of sweeter side than the sort of dank side. So you're getting big sort of tropical flavours, mangoes. You're getting, I'd almost say you're getting more on the apricot side than say the peach side in terms of those stone fruit flavours. Then there is, I mean, when I think when you said a sprinkler, Nelson Sauvin, that's quite a good apt description because it's almost like the Nelson is sprinkled over the top, in that you're getting little pockets of that Nelson flavour, but it's not over dominating the beer. And again, I said it in the last video, or the last video I posted, probably that was a while ago, but the last video that I can remember that I talked about the Polly's one, which was, it's up there with the beer it's got to be up there in the running for beer of the year. That had Nelson Sauvin and Sabro in it. And I said in that video, both of them are really powerful, dominating sort of hops in terms of the flavours that they give off. And sometimes they can just overwhelm a beer. So even if it's got 3 or 4 other hops in it, if it's got, say, Nelson Sauvin in it, it still tastes very Nelson Sauvin. Same with Sabro. Now this is quite similar in the fact that you're getting the Nelson flavour in it, but it's not the dominant force in this beer. It's more about tropical, stone fruits, peaches and apricots and mangoes, that sort of stuff. Passion fruit actually as well coming through. You could even say there's a little bit of pineapple as well, but it's definitely more on the tropical stone fruit flavours, which you're getting from the Eldorado and the Crush. The Nelson Sauvin, when you think, oh, it's all very sort of similar in tropical and peachy and that sort of stuff, and then we get this little pockets, little murmurs, I suppose you would say, of that sort of the grape and the gooseberry and the melon and the orchard fruits. So they just sort of come in, and just when you think, oh, they're going to overwhelm now, and then they just disappear. And then there's slight sort of hints of them as it sort of as you drink it, and you're just sort of sitting back and you can still taste the flavour on the palate. Some of those flavours are coming through. And there's a little bit of sharp, sort of, I'd almost say pink grapefruit flavours just on the back end. It's a very good beer. I'm trying to sort of think. It's a very good beer, but I don't think it's. I think again, the memory of that Polly's one was so strong. I think the body is a little bit lighter, and it's easier to drink, and it's moreish, but it's less satisfying, if that makes sense. But flavour-wise, yes, it tastes really good, really, and the more I drink it, I think actually it is fairly sweet in terms of that initial flavour. If you like sweet peaches, sweet succulent apricots, mango fruits that, you know, you're sitting on the beach and you're having a fresh mango. I don't know if you've ever had that, but you know, it's got that sort of sensation, gets the taste buds going, and it is a very fruity beer. It's not, I wouldn't call it. I think you can tell that it's a double IPA as well. It's not that, I don't think it's the hop or that, probably a combination of the hops and the alcohol content anyway. But you're left with this sort of dry finish where you sort of know that there's a little bit more alcohol in it than you probably would expect from, say, an IPA sort of thing. The flavour sticks around. I mean, it's just a good quality double IPA, and yeah. Obviously, we've had some great IPAs, double IPAs, beginning of this year, and they all come out. Blood Machines, Putty, obviously the Polly's one. There's probably others as well. I mean, I think I've got a few others in the fridge, double IPAs I'm really looking forward to. But I thought this was good, and it is a good beer. Don't get me wrong, this is a good beer, and I think as well, if I just quickly look at my prices, how much I paid for this. I like Gravity Well because their prices are very reasonable, and their double IPAs are very reasonable. I actually bought a New England IPA from them, and I didn't review it, I just drank it, and I enjoyed that as well. Where is it? I say it's reasonable, but it's not bad. £6.50. Those outer core and inner core ones I had from them were like $5.99, and I thought, wow, they're great, really good value for money. £6.50 is not bad. I've paid $7.50. Track seem to charge more, like $7.50. Beak for their double IPA is similar. That's the other one that I've got. Can I just quickly? Yeah, I mean, I've got a Beak one double IPA from them, and that's $6.99. So it's probably at the lower end, and I still think it's good value for money for an 8% beer. And when it's a good beer like this is, yeah, definitely good. I like Gravity Well. I like the concept. Yeah, a lot of their covers are very similar. They got, you know, I'd say there's even though I mean, they're all space themed. This one's a little bit lighter than some of the others. And so it's difficult to differentiate which ones you've had and which ones you haven't had. But the beer inside the cans is good. And yeah, I like them. I think they're a great brewery. So let's get some scores for this beer. Okay, the scores are in Four Naan. It is a double IPA from Gravity Well. Great beer. Eldorado's, what was the first one? Oh, Crush, Eldorado, and a sprinkling of Nelson Sauvin. I think it's a good beer, so let's get the scores. Starting with aroma. Appearance. Flavour. Value for money. And finally, my overall experience. We top the scores up. It's a highly recommended beer. Just about 80 out of 100 total score. It's the Iron Maiden of craft beer. It's the heaviest of heavy metal. It's a very good beer. Gravity Well make good beers. This is up there. Especially if you like your beers, whether that's IPAs or pales or double IPAs. On the sort of tropical and the stone fruit side, then I think you'll really like this. There's loads of flavour in this. It's a delicious flavoured beer. It's easy to drink for an 8%, and I definitely think you should give them a try. So if this isn't available, but you see Gravity Well in your local bottle shop, or you go online, you're buying from the likes of, you know, one of the online ones, and you see a Gravity Well beer, a double IPA especially, because then give it a go, because I think it's one of those breweries. I don't see many people reviewing them. It's not like your Tracks and your Beaks and your Verdants and stuff like that. I don't think they get as much love, but they're a very good maker of beer. So yeah, definitely try them if you can. I like them. They're in my top 10, and I've not really had a bad beer from them, and I've had some very good beers from them. So for me, they're definitely they should be on your radar if you've not had them from before. There's a lot worse. There's probably hundreds of worse breweries than this. And there's probably half a dozen or so that maybe are better. So definitely worthy of your time. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, then give it a thumbs down. That's how it works. But either one, some reaction would be great. Comments, I always love hearing your comments. So please put some comments in there. What you drink at the moment, what you're liking. What do you think of Gravity Well? Maybe you're a Londoner and you go to the tap room quite often. Let me know in the comments. And until the next one, well, you know what you do. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. You got this far and you're not subscribing. I'm surprised. But, you know, if you're thinking, oh, should I subscribe to this guy? He sounds a bit quirky. He's a bit weird. He's called Rocker, but he's got a bloody old man's jumper on. So that's not very rock, is it? Well, I might amaze you as the weather gets better and I can start wearing rock t-shirts to my videos, yeah, whatever. Anyway, this 8% is starting to get to me, so I'll leave there. So I only ask two things for you to do now, and that's number one is drink good craft beer. Number two is keep on rocking.